All right. Hi, everyone. Just giving a few moments to let people come into our webinar. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Carrie Salazar, and I'm our Senior Membership Manager here at People for Bikes, and welcome to our corporate member orientation. We do these 3 times a year, and we just really want to have the opportunity to let you guys know all of the great benefits that we offer, and also get to hear from our amazing experts in our policy and data and marketing and business network teams. So thanks everyone for coming today. We will be recording this webinar, and it will be housed in our corporate member center. So if you have any other coworkers that maybe weren't able to make it today and you think this information might be valuable to them, please let them know to head into our corporate member center, and they're able to see this recording, or feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. So thank you so much. We also just really appreciate your membership and your contribution. We couldn't do all of our amazing, great work without your support. So again, thanks again for your corporate membership, and really appreciate that. So we're going to move on to our agenda today. So next slide, please. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the member center, and Scarlett is our member service coordinator, and she's going to take us through how to log into the member center and what's in the member center. And then normally we would hear from Patrick, who is our senior research manager. It is raining in Colorado today, quite a bit actually. And so he is having a little bit of flooding. And so I'm going to be stepping in and talking about our amazing data. And then we'll hear from Noah, our Director of Federal Affairs. Ash is our Electric Bicycle Policy Director. And then Ashley is our Deputy Director of State and Local Policy. And then Rachel is our e-mountain bike policy and program manager. And then we have Ryan, who's our Director of Enterprise Partnerships. And then Jordan, who is our Director of Marketing. And then we'll end with the question and answer as well. So feel free to add any questions into the question and answer box throughout the session. So we will get started first with Scarlett.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. I will go ahead and share my screen, and thanks again, everyone, for being here today. Go ahead, bear with me for just a second. Sorry, I just had a little technical difficulty with the pop-up. Okay. So to get to the member center, you'll need to go to peopleforbikes.org. And then at the very top of the page, you'll see corporate member center with the yellow login button. So that's where you'll click to log in. And then you'll be able to enter your email. Here, and then you'll get a code sent to your email, which you can copy and paste. Sorry, I had trouble with my screen share, so you get to see all of that. Awesome. Okay, so you'll log it in just like that. And if you ever have any issues with that, you can also look to do a text code that will go to your phone if you put in your phone number. So here's the corporate member center. The first tab is our business intelligence hub. This is going to be a lot of data and insights, which Carrie is going to explain a little bit more. Normally it would be Patrick, but we'll get to learn a little bit more about that. And then we have S&P Global Risk and Opportunity Forecasts. We also have monthly sell-through reports here, which a lot of you will also be getting those sent to your email. Single sport participation reports for different categories. Then we also have our e-bike curious study. We have our tariff classification guide here, which we just added our new one for 2023. So that's going to be in there, which is exciting. Our corporate bike benefits program, which Ryan can talk about a bit more. Here we have our industry webinar series link. So under this tab is where we have all of our monthly webinars stored, which you can go in and watch. And we have those monthly. So if you're interested in registering for those as well, you can, we'll post a list of which ones are coming up. Then sustainability and safety resources. We have some new resources in there, which is a sustainable packaging guide and chemical management guide, which Ashley, feel free to talk about more. Here you can download all of our brand assets. So if you're interested in having our logos or anything of that nature, it'll be under this tab. Another good one to note is our membership orientation. The recording is going to be under this tab. That'll be helpful for anybody who wasn't able to make it today. They can still watch the recording, and we have access to the owner's manual license here. So members get a discounted rate to access the owner's manual license, which is an annual license. We have subcommittee opportunities, so you can see a list of our subcommittees in here, and then fill out a form if you're interested in registering for a subcommittee. If there's a spot available, the head of the subcommittee will reach out to you as well. But all of the subcommittee meeting notes are also going to be in the Member Center under this tab, so you can keep up with it that way. Just a note that it is just for members. If you just keep it within your company, we certainly appreciate it. And then we'll have other memos and resources here. I think we have out of class e-bike guide and a couple other useful things as well. And that's the Member Center. If you have any issues or questions, I'm going to put my email in the chat. So if you feel free to reach out to me with any questions, and we'll get them answered. Thank you. Back to Carrie.
Thank you, Scarlett. I really appreciate it. Now we're going to move on to the data. And so let me just share my screen here. Okay, hopefully you can see the sales reports. So this is the tab that would be the second one from the top that Scarlett just went through, and it's called the NPD reports. And here you'll see different sales reports. You can even watch a webinar if you want more information related to some of the inventory data that we have. And there are reports from 2023 all the way through 2020, I believe, even to 2019. So a lot of great information in here. Sorry for all the scrolling. So if we go into the February folder, this is what the analysis is that the research and stats subcommittee puts together. So they get the raw data from NPD group, and then they take that data and analyze it and put in the information here. And so it breaks it down into a lot of major takeaways and then more in-depth analysis. And you can actually download this dashboard. So if you go here, it will download a spreadsheet that is pretty robust. And in here, you're going to see, all about what's happening in the NPD reporting. And then you first are going to go to the summary table here. And I know this might be kind of small for you guys, but in here you can actually break down independent bike dealers and then rest of market. So you could choose one of those channels if you want to see them independently. Rest of market is going to be, the big box stores and things like that. And then the IBDs are the independent bike shops. And then you can also break the category into bicycles, bike accessories, parts, and then even break down the class even more so. So like, for instance, if you wanted to go into, frames, you can actually click inside of frames normally. Hold on one second. Let's go into mountain. So if you click inside a mountain, you can actually break down here what's happening from either no suspension, full suspension, hardtail, downhill bikes. And that way you can see also what's happening across the columns here related to dollars, units sold, average selling price. So again, a lot of great information here that you can really dive deeper into the analysis. Not only do we have bikes, parts, accessories, we also have apparel too. So you can even drill down into different outerwear or mountain bike shorts or road. And then you can go into inventory as well. So this is what inventory is actually happening at the IBD level. And you can also do inventory for apparel. And then there's a trend analysis here, which is really cool. So you can actually see, again, you can break down channel, category, or class, and then see the graph of what's happening from 2020 through 2023 related to sales, inventory, units sold, as well as inventory units. And then from here, we are going to go into the next tab, which is technically the first tab in the Member Center. And this is our Business Intelligence Hub. So here you actually will see retail sales, consumer insights, as well as participation. And under retail sales, what's really nice is we have the NPD, which is now Circana data. And when we looked at the report before, those reports usually come out about every 6 weeks. And as we know, the market is definitely changing fast right now. And so sometimes, you want information faster than the 6 weeks. So here you can see within like a week, week and a half, you can actually see the IBD, the rest of market, total market in these specific categories. So this is all bikes, but you could also check bike accessories and see what's happening here. Anywhere from helmets and footwear, adult performance, different categories that are broken down. So this is great information that gets updated weekly in our Business Intelligence Hub. And this just helps paint a better picture so that you have different data points from different types of research. And then you can also see the change comparison from previous year of weekly dollars for sales. And it breaks it out again into total market, IBD, and rest of market. And then you can also see that same graph, but have it related to unit sales. And then we also partner with a couple different companies. One is Smart E-tailing. And so you can see what's happening online, which is really important, sales related to previous year here. And then we also partner with Retail Toolkit so that you'll see the brick and mortar as well. And then we do some Google trend analysis. That way we can kind of lay over Google search word for bike sales versus total units of bikes sold and see those comparisons. And then also important too that we have information here related to bicycle imports. And so that's a great tool as well to see from 2017 all the way to 2023 what's happening with the bicycle imports. And feel free here to go into other ridership trends and participation and consumer insights as well. With consumer insights, we actually have two types of surveys that we do. We survey general population, and then we also survey our 1.4 million supporters that are bike enthusiasts. And so it's great information to see what types of bikes they're riding, what type of, clothing they're using, what's new on the e-bike side, maybe why they're not buying a certain type of bike, all of those type of information. And then another great new tool that we started is the S&P Global Risk and Opportunity Forecasts. So with the NPD and the Business Intelligence Hub, it's great to see what's happening in the past. But now we also need to see what's happening, in the next 3 to 5 years. And so the Research and Stats Committee has worked really hard and partnered with S&P Global to kind of teach them how the bike industry works and then how their analysis can help the bike industry. And so here we have quarterly reports, and our latest one is in February. And you're going to see here what's happening globally and with our economy, as well as what's happening with supply chain in multiple different countries, and then how that's affecting bikes and the bike business and bike sales for the next 5 years. So you can see here key findings, as well as different trends. Country-specific risk factors related to maybe where you're manufacturing bikes or bike products. And then it goes into the market demand. So it breaks out bicycles, overall adult bicycles, but then it also breaks out children's bikes and then e-bikes, and then service and parts as well. We are working on getting more information with direct to consumer. That's in the works right now because this report is, focused on the actual independent bike dealers. And so from here, again, it just dives in a little bit deeper into what's happening, some of the sales models, and then different graphs of the bicycle market for the next couple of years. So any questions related to any of this, Patrick is amazing, and he heads up our research and stats subcommittee, and he can tell you more and answer more specific questions. So I'm going to put his email into the chat, and feel free to email him with any questions, and he apologizes that he can't be here today. But hopefully I got you some great information. So thank you so much. And we're going to move on to Noah to talk more about federal policy.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everyone. I'll keep this relatively brief. My name is Noah Benayan. I'm the Director of Federal Affairs for People for Bikes. Been doing this a little more than 4 years now, and I'm based in Washington, D.C. My work for People for Bikes and for you all is to represent the bicycle industry before Congress and before the presidential administration, regardless of who's in charge. Obviously, maybe not obviously, but everything in the bike industry is affected by policy, whether it's the duties that are set on your imported components to the funding for infrastructure in your backyard. Those decisions are made by Congress and by the administration and related agencies, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Interior, when we're talking about mountain biking and public lands access, the United States Trade Representative, when we're talking about trade and tariffs, which we talk about a lot. And so my work is to be your voice in DC and to lobby for issues that affect you the most and support your company as well as bike riding on the whole. Our focus is very, very much on infrastructure, incentives, and trade and access. And throughout all of those, we're looking at e-bikes and how that's changing people's access to e-bikes. We're looking at incentives to make e-bikes more affordable for more people, to get more people thinking about bike riding. We're looking at infrastructure, everything from protected bike lanes to bike racks to e-bike charging to trailheads and bike parking at trailheads, to trails themselves and maintenance. All of those decisions are affected at a local level by what type of funding and policies regulate them in DC. So if you are working on any of those issues, or you want to get involved in advocacy, you really want to support a cause related to safety or infrastructure or climate, I'd love to work on something like that with you and connect you with your federal officials, whether it's your member of Congress or your senators, and help you build that relationship if you don't already have it. I co-manage the Legal, Legislative, and Safety Subcommittee for People for Bikes. This is really great for general counsels and those involved in sort of the larger legal decisions of a company's direction, especially related to trade and tariff policy. If you work on trade compliance, this is a good subcommittee to be on. And we cover everything happening at the federal, state, and local levels, and also sometimes international legal things like country of origin. And thankfully, I co-manage that with our general and policy counsel, Matt Moore. And we would love to chat if you're interested in getting more involved in that side of People for Bikes work. I will keep it at that and put my email in the chat. Thank you all.
Thanks, Noah. Really, really appreciate it. Reminder again, if you have any questions, to feel free to put those in the Q&A box. And now we're going to move on to Ash.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, my name is Dr. Ashley Lovell. You can call me Ash. I'm the Electric Bicycle Policy and Campaign Director for People for Bikes. That means I get to work with many of the other people that you see here on the screen, doing all things related to policy and campaigns for electric bicycles. So we work at the federal, state, and local levels on multiple different kinds of initiatives, like our e-bike incentives, our 3-class model legislation, which categorizes an e-bike as a bicycle and not a motorized vehicle. This has been a big initiative for People for Bikes over the last few years, and we've made a lot of progress there. We're also working on initiatives like right to repair bills and local e-bike bans or e-bike education. I get to head up the e-bike subcommittee, which talks about all of these big important topics and helps guide the trade association on how we manage a lot of these challenges and opportunities. I also oversee the e-bike safety task force, and we are working on an e-bike rider specific curriculum this year for a variety of different audiences, folks that are new to bicycling in general, that just bought their first e-bike, youth, folks that are coming back to riding, who haven't ridden for a while, but are now riding because they got a new e-bike. If that's something that you're interested in, I'm very happy to talk to you about that. I'm also helping to lead the e-bike battery safety or battery recycling campaign. We have so many campaigns, people, so many. And that one I will not share too much about, but so many different industry members have signed on to this battery recycling campaign, and it is a big deal, both in terms of recycling for sustainability and for battery safety. And speaking of battery safety, I don't know if you've heard, some batteries have caught on fire at some point this year. This has been a big issue in the regulatory space. This is another thing that I've been helping to lead, is the regulatory response to lithium-ion battery safety concerns. Again, at the federal, state, and local level, we've been working in New York City, New York State, with the CPSC, at the federal level with Congress. This is part and parcel for the trade association. How do we deal with these emerging issues? And we get to be at the front lines. It's really exciting work. I also help with the EMTB work, but I will hand it to Rachel for much more conversation about that. I will put my email in the chat if you'd like to reach out. There's lots more that I haven't covered. If you want to have a crash course on some of the work that we are doing, feel free to go to the memos section in the member center. We upload all of our e-bike subcommittee and safety task force memos there, so you can learn a little bit about what we talk about in all of our meetings. We meet on a eight-week basis for the e-bike subcommittee. So if you'd like to join, please feel free to reach out. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Ash. We're going to move on to Ashley.
Sweet. And not Rachel, correct? Ashley, next.
Sorry, I was going by my agenda.
It's okay. I'll just go quickly and then we'll close out this portion with Rachel and all the exciting things that are happening with electric mountain bike and recreational access. I'll just go quickly because Ash mentioned a number of the policy initiatives that I also help with in the e-bike space. But I'll kick it off by saying that I am Ashley, not to be confused with Ash. We have the same name. We try and coordinate. I'm the Director of State and Local Policy, Sustainability Lead at People for Bikes. So I help lead all of our policy work at the state and local levels nationally, as well as both our internal and external sustainability initiatives with the bike industry. When I have my policy hat on, essentially I'm tracking, along with my wonderful colleague Kyler, who's also on the call, tracking state and local policy that affects bike riding and bike businesses. So this could be e-bike access, this could be operation laws, infrastructure laws, you name it, we have a pulse on it. So if you're interested in learning about what's going on in your own backyard, or you'd like to see our legislative tracker, just shoot me an email and we'd be happy to share it. On the sustainability side of things, I help lead our sustainability working group, which is about 80 members strong. We're a big group, but we are big and we welcome anybody who's interested because we are focused on both education, but achieving bigger sustainability wins through collective action. So we're going to be mentioning our e-bike battery recycling program a couple times in the call because that was a big collective effort to achieve sustainability wins. Now we're looking at exploring tire and tube recycling. So if you'd like to be involved in that conversation, let me know. And last year, we also added 2 new sustainability member benefits to our member center that Scarlett had referenced, our sustainable packaging guide and our chemicals management memo. So if you'd like to learn more about those, you can access them in the member center. And if you have any questions at all regarding state and local policy or sustainability, I'm your gal. I'll put in my email in the chat. Rachel, please take it away.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm Rachel Fussell. I'm the EMTB Policy and Program Manager, and I work with all these lovely folks on EMTBs as well as mountain bikes, anything that helps to gain more access to trails for bikes, again, including both electric mountain bikes, which is a really is a big topic currently, as well as mountain biking. So continuing to grow access for bikes recreationally. And so my work really revolves around that access, and that includes EMTB research. What are the impacts? What's the social perceptions? We just had a study that came out in partnership with the University of Vermont on EMTBs and their social perceptions on trails and impacts, which is really wonderful. The researchers, I'm happy to share the study methodology and findings from that. We also work with researchers throughout the country just to really work on that national research compendium that People for Bikes is helping to lead, to be the go-to source for land managers, for trail organizations, for anyone interested in EMTBs and what they do for the health of communities, for climate, for social impacts, and also just getting people outside. So really focusing on that. I also help lead a working group, which is a subgroup of the e-bike subcommittee, and it's the EMTB working group. Again, we're really focused on strategizing access for EMTBs on trails and what does that look like across the nation. So I work with Ashley and Kyler and our state and local policy team, focusing on recreation issues, like getting more funding for trails, getting more laws like the model legislation for 3 classes to be included on trails, as well as now we're rolling out a model legislation for EMTBs or e-bikes on state lands. So working through that, also working on out-of-class electric vehicles, which has been a big topic recently, especially for trails, where we're seeing some folks who are using e-motos or, again, out-of-class electric vehicles on trails where they shouldn't be. So working with partners such as IMBA, Tread Lightly, other motorized groups, land managers to understand what the issues are. And if you're interested in that, we are always looking for folks to join this working group and help to create an education first instead of enforcement first approach to these types of things. Again, working with Ash on safety for trails and etiquette, and also tribal entities on how we can work with not only the federal government, but also tribal nations to grow access. And what does that look like? As well as Ash, again, mentioned working with US Forest Service and BLM to make sure that e-bikes are classified as non-motorized, whereas right now they're using that definition of motorized. So there's lots of things. And I also working with the EMTB loan program. So trying to get EMTBs in the hands of local land managers and advocacy organizations so that folks can learn about what are classes of e-bikes, what is a class 1, what does it look like on the trail, and what it's not. So I'll leave it there, and I'll put my contact information. And again, just think of me for all things mountain bikes and EMTBs. And I'll pass it along, I think, to Ryan.
Thanks so much, Rachel. I'll just do another plug. If you have any questions, so feel free to put those in the Q&A box. And Brian's next.
Thanks, Carrie. Thank you, everybody, for who joined the call today. So far, you've heard about a lot of the amazing work our team has done, from policy to analytics to subcommittees to working groups, all these like crazy things. How about we talk about riding bikes? So I am in charge of our Bike Perks program, which is a ride encouragement program for your staff. It can also be for your community, whatever you want it to be. So really quick, I'm going to drop into the chat one of the websites we created to support our ride recording platform called RideSpot. So I'd encourage you to go check that out. RideSpot is a way for individual riders to record their favorite rides and then share them with their community. And we leverage that software to run these ride encouragement programs for employers. So your team can partner with us in that effort. If you do not currently have a program in place to encourage your staff to ride their bikes as a form of transportation, as a form of leisure, as a form of recreation, we've already done it. So if you are interested in that and that's something that your team would be stoked on, I would love to hear from your team, and I can get you set up with a ride encouragement program and just kind of show you the steps of how easy that is and how we can get your team riding more often to build more inclusive bike culture at your place of employment. So that is my role. And obviously, as an organization called People for Bikes, I'm pretty stoked to be talking about bikes today. So thank you so much for your time. And I will also drop my email in the chat. And if you want to get people riding, reach out to me. Let's talk. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks so much, Ryan. I always love your enthusiasm and your smile. All right, now we're moving on to Jordan.
We're going to keep the party going. Thanks, everyone, so much for joining this webinar to learn more about our work. I'm Jordan Trout. I'm the Director of Marketing here at People for Bikes, and I am so excited to share with you a look at our campaign that launched yesterday, Hungry for Batteries. This is a nationwide first. The bike industry, thanks to Ash and her subcommittees, was the first transportation industry that has united behind electric bicycle battery recycling. We know that there's going to be something like 12 million electric bicycles on the road over the next decade, and that's 12 million batteries that need to be removed from landfills, waste streams, not going to dumpsters and cause dumpster fires, things like that. And so our industry came together as leaders to launch this campaign. This went live yesterday. We want to say thank you to the 52 brands who joined. This is the web experience. We've got Watts, who is our main battery hungry muncher. He's out here making sure that e-bike batteries don't go into dumpsters. And if you are an employee of one of the 52 brands, you have access to the toolkit that we will be providing to help us get this message out, keep these batteries out of landfills. We'll have a few more phases coming. Watts is going to be getting a friend named Ray. We'll learn more about them later this month. And I'm really excited to show you too an animation if you haven't seen it on our social media. Let me see if I can share a different tab. Hold, please. Thanks everyone for being patient. We have been working really hard on this over the last several months, so we are so excited to share. And that's Watts. He's taking care of e-bike batteries, which is incredible. And as I mentioned, if you're one of our participating brands, you'll have access to this toolkit beginning tomorrow or early next week. So stand by. If you're not a member of this program, let myself or Ash know. We are more than happy to connect you with Call to Recycle to get you on board and participating in this campaign. The other thing I want to talk about is the ride spot challenges. Ryan kind of alluded to them earlier and really talked about getting more people riding through bike encouragement programs at your work, but People for Bikes also runs challenges to the general public throughout the year. And right now we're running a challenge called May Bike Month, Tools for Joy. It's essentially getting more people out on bikes more often. We have found that when people join People for Bikes ride spot challenges, they ride 400 times more than people who don't. And that's one of the ways that we want to keep these pandemic tailwinds of bicycle riding going. Additionally, we run pretty frequently what are called Ride Spot Gives Back challenges. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be launching our Asian American, Pacific Islander, and Hawaiian Heritage Month challenge, where we will be donating some funds to organizations getting Asian Americans, Hawaiian, and Pacific Island bike riders out on their bikes more often, and help us share that challenge out, help us raise money for these folks. It's a great way to get people out on their bikes and encouraging them to get more involved in their community. And some upcoming campaigns that we have going live, city ratings will be launching in June. Help us talk about how great your city is for biking or what improvements they can make. Those are all opportunities for you to get involved in our work and help us get the message out to make the US the best place in the world to ride a bike. Again, I'm Jordan Trout, Director of Marketing. I'll drop my email in the chat. Get involved, help us share out these great campaigns. And let me know if you want a Watts stuffed animal in the chat or in the Q&A. I'm trying to get some votes in so that we can make some dog toys. So thank you all so much for joining.
Thank you, Jordan. I would like to, please. All right, that's awesome. So that is everyone here on staff on our call today. There's a couple questions coming in. Some have already been answered. But let's start with sustainability. So how will the sustainability working group help my business if I have a smaller team? Ashley, do you want to start with that?
That is a great question. So our sustainability working group is especially helpful for those who work on smaller teams. We're seeing a lot that some of the larger brands, they have the extra pleasure, I suppose, of hiring an external consultant to do their carbon accounting, measure their carbon footprint for their company and all that. Though that is wonderful, that's not always something that's accessible for smaller brands. So our sustainability working group, although we're meeting 4 times, we're meeting quarterly now, we're meeting a little less frequently. We rely heavily on having a good portion of our meetings go towards education. So our meeting that's coming up here on May 24th, we'll be taking a portion of the meeting to talk about setting SBTI targets, so science-based targets, when you're doing your carbon accounting and you measure, you set your targets, and then you create plans to achieve those targets. So trying to do some hand-holding, making sure you understand what tools are available for you. And also, so folks know, as a People for Bikes member, you also get a discount to join OIA's Climate Action Corps. And that program is especially helpful, again, just setting it out, laying out the groundwork of, okay, what are the steps that I need to do when I'm starting to measure my company's carbon footprint, and what groups are available. Also, they have collabs is what they call them, where brands can come together to talk about scope 3 emissions or try and lower their greenhouse gas footprint from that extent. So if you want more information, let me know. But the Sustainability Working Group and OIA's Climate Action Corps are great places to start if you're just getting started with your sustainability journey and you're looking for some tools and connections to help you along the way.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Question related to the member center. If you're a member, how many people can access the member center? Scarlett, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, definitely. So everyone in your company has access to the member center. And if you go to the login that I showed earlier, and you'll get if you're not in our database, you'll get a message that allows you to register, or you can reach out to me and I can get you set up easily.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Scarlett. Last question. What would be the best way for myself as an industry member to get involved in just advocacy, policy? What are some steps we could take? Should we start with Noah?
I think Noah had to hop to another call, but I can take a first pass, and then Ash or Rachel or anybody, if you want to fill in on, I don't want to steal the mic, but we've said it a couple of times, but our memos, our subcommittee memos in the member center are a great place to start. We have some beautiful tables if you want to get nerdy and in policy, but we have some great tables giving you a bird's eye view of the states we're focused on, as well as the federal initiatives we're focused on. And you can, pick and choose and see what may be of interest. And if there is something you want to dig a little deeper into or take action and send a letter in support or in opposition of an issue, you just email us and we'd be happy to get you connected and involved in the process. Team, is there anything else you'd want to add?
I was gonna say, you could also sign up for the Policy Insider newsletter, as well as the Rec and Trails newsletter, which has a lot of announcements, things that are happening, good news. So I think those two are great. Their newsletters are always a good way to get connected. And of course, always reaching out to any of us who are on subcommittees if you want to be more of a part of that conversation or understand how you could be a part of the conversation. And we're always happy to receive emails or set up meetings as well.
So good, team. My last comment is Ashley and Kylie do a great job with action alerts. As a member, you should be getting those in your inbox. And if that relates to where you are locally or a place that you care a lot about, those are great ways to get involved in terms of policy. We also have great educational events. We have Shift 23 that's coming up in October in Bentonville. That is an awesome area to learn about all the different policies that we're doing, all the different campaigns that we're working on, meet other folks that are interested in advocacy and the bicycle space as well, and learn a lot more. So lots of ways to get involved.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Really, really appreciate everyone and all the great questions and time. Reminder that we will have a recording of this in the Member Center, so feel free to share that with any of your staff. Encourage them to log into the Member Center. There's tons of great information in there for all levels of the organization. And our next corporate member orientation will be Thursday, October 5th at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'd love to see any of your coworkers there, new companies, existing companies, have information for everyone. So thanks so much and really appreciate your time today. Have a great day. Ride your bike. Bye.